2023 has come and gone, and it was a great year for gaming. Games like Spider-Man 2, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and Baldur's Gate 3, among many others, meant there was something for all types of gamers. But now, it's 2024, and a whole new year of gaming is about to begin. So here are 7 games I think you should keep an eye out for in 2024. One of 2013's most critically acclaimed games is getting a remake. The original Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons enchanted critics with its fun puzzle-solving gameplay and heart-wrenching story. Set in a fantasy world, the story follows two brothers set out on an adventure to find a cure for an illness plaguing their father. Along the way, they face off against a village bully, orcs, and a monstrous spider creature. The gameplay sees the player control both characters simultaneously, with each brother being controlled by a single thumbstick and its respective trigger. The remake will keep the story and gameplay that made the original such a success, while adding improved graphics and a soundtrack recorded by a live orchestra. Like the original Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, the remake is being developed by Starbreeze Studios and is expected to release on February 28th for PS5, PC and Xbox. One of the oldest horror gaming franchises getting a new release after 9 years. Alone in the Dark is a remake of the original, which was released back in 1992 and went on to inspire games like Resident Evil. This new Alone in the Dark follows private detective Edward Carnby and Emily Hartwood as they investigate their Cito mansion in 1920s Louisiana. They are there to investigate the disappearance of Emily's uncle. Their Cito Manor is a home for the mentally fatigued, and players will interact with the mansion's residents, fight dangerous monsters, solve puzzles, and delve into a mystery of Lovecraftian horror. The gameplay has been heavily inspired by the Resident Evil remakes and boasts some impressive names in both development and cast. Alone in the Dark is written by Mikael Hedberg, who previously worked on Amnesia: The Dark Descent, while the game's artist is Guy Davis, best known for his work with horror legend Guillermo del Toro. While David Harbour of Stranger Things fame and Killing Eve's Jodie Comer will play the game's leads. Back in May, Alone in the Dark had a playable demo, Grace in the Dark, where players played as resident of their Cito Manor, a little girl called Grace. The demo acted as a prequel to Alone in the Dark, but it is unknown what role it plays in relation to the main game. Alone in the Dark is scheduled to release on March 20th for PS5, PC and Xbox. The next installment in Star Wars gaming is finally stepping away from the Jedi and the Force and delving into the world of scum and villainy. Taking place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Outlaws follows Kay Vess, a criminal, as she attempts to pull off one of the biggest heists ever seen. During her adventure, Kay will visit well-known Star Wars locations like Tatooine and Kijimi, and some new locations like the moon of Tosara. Outlaws will feature well-known Star Wars factions including the Empire, the Pike Syndicate and the Hutts, with Jabba the Hutt being a potential quest giver. How Kay interacts with these factions is very important and will be reflected in Outlaws' reputation system. This system is influenced by your actions and decisions, and how these factions interact with you can vary depending on how you play the game. Outlaws will be an open world game with players being able to explore large open maps and various settlements and cities across multiple planets. And as soon as you get bored of a location, you can take off on your very own ship, the Trailblazer. Star Wars Outlaws is being developed by Massive Entertainment, the studio behind the Division games and Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. And while there is no set release date at this moment, blog post by Disney Parks states that the game is expected to release sometime this year on PS5, PC and Xbox. After a long and difficult development period, Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 seems to finally be coming out. As a sequel to 2004 cult classic, Bloodlines 2 has a lot to live up to. Taking place in modern day Seattle during a historic Christmas time snowstorm, Bloodlines 2 is set in the world of darkness, a world in which vampires, werewolves, demons and other creatures have influenced the world into becoming what it is today. Vampires are divided into various clans, each with their own unique abilities, traits and appearance. Alongside the clans are 3 major factions: the Camarilla, a cabal that enforces the strict vampire code to keep vampire society hidden from humans; the Sabbat, who lose themselves to their feral instincts; and the Anarchs, an idealistic group who disagree with the Camarilla's views and methods. In Bloodlines 2 you play as Fear, an elder vampire who was turned over 300 years ago. This is a stark contrast from the original Bloodlines, where you played as a newly turned vampire. Like the original, your clan, appearance, backstory and gender can be chosen by the player. It is revealed that the clans Bruja, Tremere, Banu Hakim and Venture will be playable at launch, with more possibly added at a later date. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is a first-person action RPG. Players will be able to explore Seattle using a variety of melee and ranged weapons and otherworldly vampiric powers. Like in the original Bloodlines, Fear will need blood to survive and must feed on humans without being discovered. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 began development under Hardsuit Labs, but in 2021 was moved to the Chinese room. and it is unknown at this moment how much of Hardsuit Labs' original game actually still remains. Bloodlines 2 is scheduled to release for PS5, PC and Xbox in late 2024. Manor Lords is an upcoming strategy game where you are a medieval lord. You start creating a small village but quickly grow from there. Over the course of the game you will collect resources, manage production, raise an army and expand your territory through conquest and diplomacy. Manor Lords has been inspired by the art and architecture of late 14th century and prioritises historical accuracy to influence both gameplay and visuals. When creating your towns and cities you will need to manage housing, resource focused buildings and tax collection, and have a great amount of freedom of where to place the buildings. Here Manor Lords aims to recreate the natural growth of medieval towns while allowing you the freedom to create the layout you want. When it comes to combat, Manor Lords continues to focus on realism. Players will have access to a wide range of units including spearmen, archers and cavalry. The position of your troops will be incredibly important, as will their equipment, morale and fatigue. You'll also be able to customise and upgrade your units, affecting both their stats and appearance. Manor Lords is a passion project being developed by Slavic Magic and will enter early access on April 26 for PC, with an Xbox version coming at a later date. It's time to pick up your bolter and fight for the God Emperor as we return to the grim dark future of the 42nd millennium. Set during the era Indomitus after the return of the Primarch Robute Guilliman, the Imperium of Man has launched a galaxy-wide crusade with the goal of reclaiming lost worlds and returning the Imperium to its former glory. However, this crusade has encountered a new threat, the Tyrannid Hive Fleet Leviathan. Taking place against the backdrop of the Fourth Tyrannic War, Space Marine 2 sees the player set back into the role of Captain Titus, the hero of the previous game who since the events of the original game is now viewed with suspicion from his chapter, the Ultramarines, and has been demoted to Lieutenant as a result. During the course of Space Marine 2, Titus and his companions, Brother Sergeant Gadriel and Brother Carrion, fight against the Tyranids, an extragalactic insectoid race whose sole purpose is to consume all forms of biomatter, and the forces of the Thousand Suns, traitor Space Marines who are devoted to the Chaos God Tzeentch. To fight against these enemies of man, Titus will use a wide variety of range and melee weapons in a mixture of third-person shooter and hack-and-slash gameplay. Space Marine 2 will release on September 9th for PS5, PC and Xbox.
I've dreamt of this.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice was a strong highlight of 2017. Set in a dark fantasy world influenced by a mixture of Norse and Celtic mythology and culture, Senua's Sacrifice followed Senua, a picked warrior who must make her way through Helheim to rescue the soul of her dead lover from the goddess Hela. Senua's Sacrifice received high praise, especially for its depiction of Senua's psychosis and her mental health, both from the gaming community and mental health professionals, so it should be of no surprise that a sequel, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, will eventually come around. Details on Hellblade 2 are limited. What we do know is that Hellblade 2 will take Senua on a brutal journey of survival through the mythology of Viking Iceland. With the goal of saving those who have fallen victim to the horrors of tyranny, Senua faces a battle of overcoming the darkness within and without. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is scheduled to release for PC and Xbox sometime in 2024. So these are the 7 games coming out this year that I think could be worth a look. But honestly, I've only just scratched the surface. 2024 is packed with dozens of games, from new IPs to sequels and remakes, across all platforms. There are many games that we know are coming out this year that I haven't mentioned, and some that may be coming out this year but haven't been confirmed. Are there any games you think I should have included? Comment down below and let me know.